I'll just for inviting along. I think after all those presentations, I feel like I'm just a humble little farmer who hopefully has something to share with everybody else. But as Emily kindly introduced me, I'm Lawrence. I'm talking on behalf of one of the farms that I look after at the moment, Carbeth Home Farm. So I'll very briefly tell you why I might have something to share with you. But I'm 32. I know I look 22, but new entrant. I've been farming for about 6 years now, full time for the last year and a half. I'm a Lantra Industry Champion. I started off doing an HNC in agriculture, completed the Rural Leadership Program. Very proud to be runner-up of for Learner of the Year a couple of years ago. I'm now an ambassador for the land matching service, and more recently became farm manager of 2 separate estates. I have a small tenancy of my own, 20 acres, and I've put new husband and father of 1 just so that if you hear screaming of a baby and demand for a wife, that's why. Sustainability and regenerative farming is something that I've always been really passionate about when getting into the industry, and both of the estates that I look after, it's a primary focus. I think it's really important for everybody to remember that farming is obviously the #1 priority of farming is a business, and profitability and making money is always the top priority. So when we're looking at sustainability and things that we can do for the environment, we have to try and make sure that those 2 things are quite cohesive and they work well together. So how do we integrate it? I think we have to have a really clear mission statement. As I said, profitability is #1, and understand that every farm is different all over Scotland, different soil types, different climate, different sites. And our mission statement was to increase biodiversity and farm more responsibly. So I've tried to be quite clever in the pictures that I've selected, and they'll kind of prompt me through what it is that we've done. So top left is one of my 4 black Galloways. So Carbeth is a 450 acre, predominantly a sheep farm when I took over. The current owner, Day Tucker, was very empathetic and has done a bit of tree planting, and she's said that I'm okay to tell you that she is coming of an age where farming is very difficult. And she has taken my youthful exuberance, and I've taken her ideas and her passion for the environment and being a bit more sustainable, and tried to put a lot of those things in practice. So I've diversified quite heavily on the farm. We've reduced the sheep numbers by about 200 now over the last couple of years, and introduced some cattle. Rare breeds and native breeds are really important so that we can use those to utilize our rough grazing, and again, it's another profit element to the farm. We, for the first year last year, made our own hay and our own silage. Goes into the production of the hay, and it's a lot more efficient. I think I'm losing you a little bit. It's coming up saying I'm on unstable internet. So again, we're going to do the same thing this year. The next picture is agroforestry. So trees are a big buzzword at the moment within the environment and carbon capture. However, we've tried to find a scheme that allows us not to lose our grazing element. Again, I think that's what puts a lot of farmers off, is that you lose that element of grazing, and again, it can affect profitability. So this is a natural regeneration area that we have allowed to do its own thing, really, and use that word that has different connotations and that evokes different emotions is rewilding. So we have kind of tried to rewild this element, and using some of the native breeds to graze it throughout the summer, and then we leave it in the winter. Next, we we joined a group called Northwood, and they are a group who basically focus on rewilding and taking areas of Scottish farmland and turn it back to nature and remove itself from commercial farming. That is completely backwards to what our goal is. However, instead of trying to evoke change and bashing on the door and saying no, that's the wrong way to go about, we decided to join them and influence the people on how farming can influence the environment and how it can be a positive effect. And we started making these scrapes in areas where they weren't productive. A lot of farms have these small corners where there's just lots of rushes or bracken and things that really aren't very productive. So we turned that over to some scrapes and small ponds. The majority of that work was done by the little guys in the bottom left. I had a crazy moment on livestock marketplace, and I decided to buy 8 pigs and snuck them on the farm without anybody knowing. And actually, they've done a tremendous job turning over a lot of the ground. Again, they've turned into a commercial enterprise, and there's another income in for the farm. And we did use a digger eventually to make the deep bits. And again, we bought some Highland cows off of the Forestry Commission. Hardy breed, that's them. They've just arrived, so they've got put into the shed for isolation, but they live outside all year round, so we don't need to use straw to house them. There's very little hay or silage that needs to go out. They don't need much in the way of concentrates, and a much more sustainable way of farming. Yeah, I think I've put open-minded and outside the box. Probably should go on the next slide, but one of the benefits of being a new entrant is that I've sort of come in with a clean slate, trying to think outside the box of normal conventional farming practices, but being educated by a lot of people with a lot of experience on how not to do things and learning from their mistakes. Emily very kindly gave me some headings to make sure that I didn't go off on some tangent. I don't know if she knows me really well, but that's quite a common thing that I do. So hurdle solutions and funding, I've kind of amalgamated them into one, and I'll waffle on about that for a little while. Having to destroy to build, I think this was something that I really struggled with, because open grassland is seen as this barren land of monoculture and little much of an ecosystem, which is not true at all. And we were having to destroy these small ecosystems and dig holes and fell trees to create other areas for environment. It felt a little bit backwards to me. So again, we just had to focus on what was our end goal. So instead of having a large area of one type of ecosystem or biodiversity, we had to take a little bit of that away, sacrifice a little to build something else and diversify, which feels a lot better, and we're starting to see the results of that, which is fantastic. Funding and money, again, that's a huge hurdle for most farmers that I speak to when they're thinking about wanting to do something with regards to regenerative farming or helping the environment and changing practices. So again, joining this group Northwood opened a few doors for us with regards to different grants. Nature Scott have an opportunity for funding through the Northwoods program at the moment. You obviously got your EECs, and actually we're looking at it as future-proofing the farm. Carbon credits, as I've said, there is going to be a massive asset and a commodity that is only going to grow, and the value of these are only going to go up. So we're trying to get in there before it takes over and other businesses want to take that ground from us, and we have a lot more control of it and lead from the front, really. So just as farms will build a new shed or buy a new piece of equipment, the future. Not only do I have bad rural internet, I've got bad rural power. All the power just went off in my house, so I'm now on my phone.
No problem at all.
But I preempted this and I have printed out my slides, so I'm going to try my very best to continue.
Thank you.
And if I disappear again, then Yeah, so I can't remember where I was now. I kind of just lost you. Yeah, I'll just crack on. I'll just blag it. Yeah, we've kind of funding, I think, where it was, and we've obviously tried to diversify to increase profitability, and we are looking to the future with our carbon credits and the next sort of big asset that will hit the agricultural sector. I think one of the biggest things that we've done, which you saw right at the very beginning, I'll try and do this low tech, is we've actually branded the farm and really focused on our website, and we feel that a brand really evokes trust and something that you can build on, so you can help influence people a lot better. It helps us with our product. Again, we can sell things. People can look back at the website and see our ethos and what it is that we're trying to do and where the products come from. But also, when we're in situations like this and we've been kindly asked to talk on behalf of what we're doing, then there's something for people to refer back to and see the journey that we've been on. Vital skills, I think a lot of them are a cliche. I think, like anything in any move to a different direction, you need to be open-minded. You need to sort of defy previous practice and understand that within change there's always going to be people pushing back. So I think any skill is going to be important. Bringing people together, joining groups, networking, learning from each other, and just stay focused on your end goal is really all that I can say without sounding a bit too cliche. But yeah, that was kind of a whirlwind description of what it is that we're doing at Carbeth, and I would invite anybody to look at our website and keep a track of what we're doing if you're interested. Yeah, thanks very much. Hope